I'm so curious what brought you here today. I have a topic in mind. I talk about what's alive often for me, what's going on in my life, but I'm also curious what's alive for you. So before I start blabbing away about my life and what's going on, about intuition, and I have some cool stories. Every week, it's like I have some new stories. So today I have some really cool stories. Because I teach through storytelling. That's all I have is just stories to share. And yeah, glad you're back. I am back. I was gone last week. Yeah, I was at a back to yoga festival. Well, not festival, retreat. How was your time away? Instead of meeting here on Saturday morning, I ran in a 5K. Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive, Danny. And where was the 5K? Welcome, others. Let me know where you're joining in from. I love to know that. And if you have any questions, this is a really, this is an hour where we talk about everything, anything. I have a topic in mind that I want to bring up. But before I do that, I would love to know what's alive for you guys first. Hello, AJ from New Mexico. Welcome here. I've never seen you here before. So if this is your first time, welcome. What brought you? What attracted you here today? Yeah, I don't know. Danny is a regular. Did you come with a specific topic or question, or what's alive for you these days? I'll just wait as some more people join in. I have some really fun stuff. AJ says surrender. I love that. Whew. Very aligned. Very aligned with AJ, with my lessons from last week. And I'll share more. Kim, good morning from New Orleans. Ooh, this is a dream of mine to go to that city. It's a bucket list. Bucket list. Everyone needs to see New Orleans once in their life. So, welcome everyone. AJ, is there something more about surrender? So it's a beautiful topic. I'm asking anyone who's logging in now, I'm asking, what's alive for you? What is a topic that you want to talk about today? I should definitely visit New Orleans. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what's alive as more and more meditators are joining in? Nicole, wow, powerful. I'm going to read what you said, what you wrote. My mom passed away recently, and I feel like I have been interacting with her through dreams, birds. It's been interesting. I want to learn more about observing what's around me to know my spirit guides, etc. Are telling me. Exactly. I love this. I actually did workshops. I used to teach workshops as animals as our mirrors and messengers. Like, I'm always observant of animal messages, especially animals. And it's funny you say birds. My dad's favorite bird is the blue jay. So anytime I see him, I think of him. My sister, her spiritual name is the hummingbird. So anytime I see a hummingbird, I think of her. My spiritual name is butterfly. So it's just like I'm very conscientious of the animals that cross my path. The other day, I've been living in this home for 10 years. And one morning, I just randomly looked outside and there was this gorgeous skunk, like beautiful. Like, his back was like a lot of white, and he was in my backyard. And I've never seen a skunk in my backyard. And it was like, whoa, beautiful. Like, what message does a skunk have? So I really, I'm very open to all messages. Dreams, of course, loved ones, alive or who passed, come through dreams for sure. And yeah, I do. If you check out my website, I actually have like a radio show. It's called The Dawn of Intuition. Awaken to a New Way of Being. And I talk about synchronicities and intuition, and my next book is I'm writing about all the synchronicities that happen in my life and just being observant, because I feel life is so much more fun when I'm as observant to all the the mystery and the beauty. Yeah, your mom's a cardinal. Oh gosh, they're stunning. That's amazing. I love that. Of course. I totally believe in that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, AJ wrote, yeah, it's the art of playing the game, forget, remember. Yeah, about surrender. Being with others, aware of the process fuels the journey. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I love coming together. I love coming together here. I love doing this. I love these lives. I feel so alive doing these lives. Just sitting here authentic. Just sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh, sometimes I have a story to share, and sometimes people write in comments and help one another. So I want to actually. I really like AJ. What AJ brought up, the topic of surrender. Oh, Nicole, yeah. I want to follow intuition because I tend to be very indecisive. Yeah, the more you trust your intuition, the easier it is to make decisions. I'm very I'm very clear with my decisions, and I receive intuitive guidance. I act very fast. I take very quick inspired action when I receive guidance, and it's only led to the most beautiful things in my life. And there's opportunities that I probably would have missed. Is that bad? No. There's no judgment, but when I said yes to them very quickly, in an aligned state, not out of fear, and it's different to feel that. I do, if you connect to uh, my Reconnect to Your Intuition premium course, it talks about what is intuition, what intuition is not, feeling fear or making decisions very aligned. It's very different. And the more I trust and have confidence in my intuition and know if it's my thoughts or fear or anxiety, or if it's a very clear message. And the topic I want to bring up today is all about anxiety, actually. And it's going to tie back to surrender, AJ. Are we in control? Don't think so. Yeah, I love this. You're so aligned. I'm so glad you're here today, AJ, because what's going on with me right now, I can only speak about me, and maybe if anyone else wants to join in, is a level of anxiety. And I'm very intuitive, and I feel super aligned with messages and my guidance and my higher self and whatever you believe out there. Just like, yeah, I feel very connected. And there's moments where I feel anxious. And right now I'm in that because I'm renting my home for a month. And that means I'm homeless in my brain. I keep saying that. I'm homeless in a couple months. And I really believe in safety and security. This is basic like Maslow's needs is like you need to have safety and security to be able to work up your other, needs and levels. So for me, I've been very in this home for a decade and very like, okay, I have a base, I have a place. And now because I don't know where I'm going in a couple months, I had all these plans. This is why are we in control? I had all of these plans for August. I was going to facilitate at a festival. I was going, to Europe. I was going to meditate. I had like a list of things. And that was plan A. And the plan A didn't work. I had plan B. And I'm usually not even a planner, but I was just like, oh, I'm going to do all of these fun things in a couple months. And so within a month or two, they all crumbled. All of those plans, like a big festival was just canceled. The facilitator was burnt out. She canceled it. A relationship crumbled. So I'm not going to Europe to travel with that partner. Like all of these things just kind of fell through. And it's like, okay, how much can we really plan? Like I like to plan my life. I have goals. But it's like when everything constantly crumbles, I just have to go into a deep level of surrender, which is hard. Surrender, exactly. So I'm in my anxiety, like, okay, I don't have a home in a couple months. Where am I going to go? Where's my dog going to go? Like all of the things. And I'm a Kundalini teacher, and I was doing some Kundalini yoga. And while I was laying in the last posture, which is Shavasana, you lay down and you incorporate all, yeah, Kim, I have a lot of anxiety lately, worries and fear, going through divorce and big changes. Yeah, the topic I want to talk about is anxiety today. So I was in my really, in this pose, integrating, and it's one of the most difficult poses in yoga, because you have to just relax and not move for like 5 minutes, which is hard for adults generally, to relax and calm our nervous system. And at the end, or while I was in that posture, I received this intuitive message. And anytime I receive messages, it's often I'm more like clairaudient. So I'll hear the message and it's very neutral. It's always like, oh, brilliant. And that's kind of a nice telltale sign that was intuition. So I'm laying there and I received the message, surrender to the mystery. I was like, good one. Yeah, I need to work on surrendering to the mystery of life. And it's hard. And I teach this. I do workshops on this. I'm on Insight Timer to talk about intuition. And I've worked on this for decades. And this is a really big test for me of like, okay, JD, you don't have a home. Can you walk your talk? And it's like, ooh, okay, I'm going to have to up level. And I have maybe some cool stories for you guys. So I received, okay, surrender to the mystery. Fine, universe, I'll surrender. So I go onto my computer and I received an email from a retreat center where I did my Hatha, a 200-hour Hatha yoga teacher training. And it's one of like my favorite retreat centers in the world. It's like most conscious community it's not a conscious community. It's a retreat center, but they do like 5 a.m. meditation, 5 p.m. meditation, yoga, organic vegan food, like authentic relating, ecstatic dance, women's circles, like everything I love. Kirtan, like everything, all my favorite things in one place. By a river. Anyways, it's one of my favorite places on earth, and I got this email from them and they said, we're doing, I'm kind of, I'll reach out to me if you want, Nicole. I can tell you, but it's in Uvita, Costa Rica. And I was looking at their offerings, and they're offering this 1-month immersion program. I was like, oh, that's fun. So I was looking at it, all my favorite things in 1 month, like in a day. Your daily schedule is like my ideal day, And they said, if you pay for 3 weeks, you get the 4th week free. And I'm looking for 1 month things. And I was like, amazing. I'll just take the money I'm taking, like getting from the home, and put it there, and I'll have a 1 month retreat and da-da-da-da. And then I was looking at the dates, and the dates weren't lining up. And I was like, oh, darn. And so then I did some more research, and they had this work exchange program where you contribute however many hours and you get room and board and all the things. And I was like, oh, like maybe I can just volunteer there. So then I got this intuitive message that said, just wait. Just like I was going to a Bhakti yoga retreat in upstate New York last week. And I just got this, like, I went camping by the river, and it was like, just you'll get your answer at that retreat. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to always like I'll just sit with it and see any messages or see what happens in the 4 days that I'm there. Like I just kind of got that message, like, just wait, you'll get your answer there. Okay, universe, fine. And that's the thing with intuition. It's for me, it's not like you're going to do this. It's like step. Okay, here's an email. Okay, here's a this. Okay, go here. Okay, it's like little, like, and so I just like follow my intuition for that. Now what? Follow my intuition for that. Now what? To get me to where I need to go. It's for me, like small steps. So I get to this retreat center in upstate New York. And on the first full day, I am walking on this road back to the dining room. Walking really slow. I'm like, la, 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 by myself walking. And there was a group of 3 people behind me. And like they were walking a little bit faster than me. And the moment the man like passed me, I'm like, walking. And the moment he was like right beside me and he was passing me, they were talking about how they discovered Curtin, or where they discovered Curtin or something. So he was walking by and he said, "Oh, Uvita, Costa Rica." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like the universe is so clear with me. The universe never like gives me, I'm not good with poetry. I'm not good with translations. Like I need things clear. And the universe knows that and gives me like, Uvita, Costa Rica. I was like, okay. And I reacted. I was just like, whoa. And the woman who was walking with him kind of met me and she's like, oh my gosh, JD, like I see your reaction. Why are you reacting like that? And I was just kind of in shock. Even to this day, I live a very synchronistic life and I'm always still surprised by the synchronicities. And I told this guy, I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you just said that word. I was just contemplating going to Uvita and da 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 da. Yeah, the universe has a great sense of fun and irony. I think so too. Like the mere chances of that, AJ. Like this random human I didn't even know existed. I didn't even talk to this man ever. And he just like passed me. Like he was literally beside me and he went, Uvita, Costa Rica. It wasn't Uvita somewhere else. Uvita, Costa Rica. Like this is like the smallest, littlest town in Costa Rica. You know what he was talking about? How he went to a festival there and whatever. So the mere chances of that, and I told him, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And he was like, oh, I don't believe in coincidences. And like, I don't believe in universe, like the universe telling you what it's like helping you and da da da. And I don't believe in, I just think it's like, you know, there's no coincidences. Or no, he said, you know, he believes in coincidences. He's like, but it's not like messages or universal guidance. He's like, oh, it's just like par hasard. It's just like by hazard. Like it's just, that's in French. It's like just coincidence. It just happened. And I was like, what a sad way to live. Like I love living in the mystery. I love living in the mystery. There and okay, that's how he lives. Great. He doesn't believe in synchronicities and coincidences, and I choose to because I think that's really, really fun to live in this magic of like, okay, what message you like? Where universe? I made this many plans this month, and they all fell through. Like, where do you want me to be? Like, who do you want me to meet? Like, and it gets to be a deeper surrender of like, okay, I'm sorry I made a plan. Where am I really meant to be? And being kind of homeless in a couple months has really pushed me to my level because it's easy to talk, have surrender and be in the universal flow when everything's perfect in your life and that you have a roof and food. But I literally need to leave my home because I made a commitment to these people who want to stay in my home and I want to honor that. But it's bringing up some deep root chakra, like things of safety and security coming to the surface. So I got home, after the Sunday night, Monday morning, I applied. I made an application to be a volunteer. I'll keep you posted. Maybe next week, maybe my next live, I'll keep you updated on if I'm accepted or not. And I'm trying to make this as inexpensive as possible because I'm renting my home to pay my bills. So, I'm going to trust that the, flight that I can use points to fly to Costa Rica. I can volunteer. I can find someone for my dog. Like I'm really working on like, okay, universe, like you need to help me. You need to help me right now. And also how often do we ask the universe for help? Right? We have free will and we need to ask for help. We can, there can't be like any of this divine intervention without our consent. So I think often we forget to ask for help. I do. And then sometimes I have to go, like there's a plan or there's people who may want to help me, but I don't even know of them. I was talking to my friend last night. She was one of my best friends. And year and a half ago, she got really, really, really sick. And she completely deleted her Facebook and turned off and changed her phone number. And within a moment, I was cut out of her life. She cut almost everyone out of her life to heal. And I tried not to take that personally, but she was my best friend. And I surrendered. I had to let that go. I had to let her go. And it's a deep heartbreak to lose a best friend. And just last week, the universe is funny too. She was very resistant. She's like, oh, JD will hate me. JD will be so angry at me. I didn't talk to her for like a year and a half. Da, da, da. And she was really resistant with all the shame. And she kept watching shows and YouTube, and literally for like a while, I don't know what happened. I don't know any of this, but she kept seeing my face in these like videos, and she's like, oh my God. And she saw my face so many times, and I was coming through in her dream world. I don't know. This is all beyond me too. That she was kind of getting like, okay, universe, I'll reach out to JD again. And last week she reached out to me. Hey, JD, I'm so sorry. I want to apologize. I understand if you never want to talk to me again, blah, 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 blah. And I replied with such an open heart. Of course, you are my best friend. I love you. I miss you. I'm not upset. I was waiting for this day. I was waiting for this day for you to come back, but I had to deeply let go and surrender to if she'll come back as my friend or not. Anyway, she came over last night. Haven't seen her in a year and a half. We hugged. It was like old times, talking about authentic stuff, talking about our shadows, she goes, naming the stuff and bringing the shadows to light. How often do you have friends where you can bring all the shadows, all your shame and all of the things you hide to the light? Hey, I had a story about you. Hey, I had a story like this. Hey, I blamed you for this. Hey, I blamed you for that. And just bringing all of that to light. And it was like, okay, cool. And anyways, my point is I was like, oh, I'm really stressed. I'm kind of homeless and I don't have a dog sitter and I don't know where we're going to go in a couple months. She's like, I can watch your dog. I was like, what? Like, I would never ask her that. And yeah. And she's like, yeah, I'd be happy to watch her. I'd be happy. I'm looking for a dog. And dogs are extremely expensive. I just paid $500 last week for him for whatever. It was like whatever medication. And it's like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even have asked her. And so it's like, okay, like I just have to surrender more to guidance and help. And yeah. I want to see what Jessica says. There's this home share site my friend's mom uses and goes on month-long trips to other countries. Yeah, her last one, she had a house stay in and she watched a dog. She only had to pay $500 for the flight. Yeah. Oh, I used to do a lot of that, Jessica. Yeah, I did a lot of house sitting. Yeah, I was on it was like house sitters and stuff. I stayed at mansions in Costa Rica and watched their animals. People would like leave me their vehicles. Sometimes people left me food. Like, it was great. It was great. While I was living in Costa Rica, I did that a lot. But yeah, thank you. I usually when I leave, because I travel a lot, I invite people to my home because my home is a retreat center and people love my home and they watch my dog for free because this is like a retreat for them. But I'm renting my home, so I need to leave. Like I can't have people in my home that month. Oh, Danny, need to run early. Have a work meeting. But what you're saying is so good. Glad to see you back, JD. Thanks for hosting these. I love them. I know. Thanks for always being here, Danny. I look forward to seeing you next time. Yeah, Kim. Yeah, if you ever want to learn more, yeah, like there's lots. But I went on housesitters.com, and it was really good. It was really popular, and I had really good experiences. And even those people for me today, they like are some I've hung out with, like some contact me like a year later. Hey, JD, I'm gone for a month. You want to come to Costa Rica and stay at my mansion again? And like, it's like beautiful opportunities. So yeah, that was my fun story that I was so excited to share about like my latest surrendering to the mystery and being anxious, like I'm an entrepreneur. Every day as an entrepreneur is really being out of my comfort zone. And so I really have to surrender to the universe a lot. Yeah. The name of the site is Trusted Sitters, the one I was on.com. Nicole, I'm also surrendering to a close friend not being communicative. I get anxious about it, but I'm learning to let her do her and just be available if when she reaches out. Yeah. Yeah. I'm someone who's sensitive, and I'm very sensitive, and I take things personally, and I took it very personally. And my sister always reminded me, like, JD, she's healing. She'll reach out when, yeah, she'll reach out. She'll reach out when she's ready, and she needs to put all of her energy on herself to heal. And she's still healing. Like last night I watched her like have to take medication at a certain time, and like it's been a year and a half. It broke my heart. I really had a visual of what she's going through. And it was like, we don't know what other people are going through. Anyways, this was a really just unexpected things this week. Anyone else want to talk about surrender? I really love this topic. Any stories? Any questions? AJ, do you have any more downloads and insights you want to share with us about that word surrender that you brought up? I like what your comment of like God's giving a little wink. Yeah, it's very like in those moments I don't feel alone. I feel very guided. And a lot of anxiety I have when I forget that I'm connected to source. When I forget I'm connected to support and love and universal intelligence and the higher self. When I really forget that, I get into my human anxious, anxiety, fear, survival. And when I have these little moments of reminders of like, oh, yeah, we have your back. It's a belief system of, do you believe the universe is safe? Do you believe, you're safe to surrender to guidance or not? And when I was younger, I didn't maybe feel as safe. I didn't trust the universe. I remember the first 5 years as an entrepreneur, I was like month by month paying my bills, super anxious, super stressed. And then one day in my meditation, I was meditating and I got the message, JD, we've been supporting you for 5 years. Like, why don't you think we're going to support you for another 5 years? And I went, oh, right. I have been. Like literally, there's been times where I remember once I was standing at the window, and it was like years and years and years ago. And I needed to pay a bill and I had no contracts coming in. And I just was like, oh my God, I need a contract. And usually contracts, like you contact the company and it takes 4 months to sign a contract. Like usually the process is very long to start a contract. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need a contract like now. And then someone called me like that day. And this woman's like, yeah, I need to start. Like, let's start next week. And it's like never that fast. And I was like, oh, and there was a lot of other companies, but she chose me and I'm just grateful. So I felt like supported enough times that I just felt like, why don't you trust we're going to support you for another 5 years? And I've had my company for 13 and it's great. It's been great. So AJ is sharing some more of his knowledge. Our sense of control is delusional. I love that word. Yes. If we reflect on our existence, we see how many trillions of events outside our influence have shaped us. Oof. Yeah, AJ, are you an Insight Timer teacher? I want to follow you, actually, and learn more of your wisdom. No. But maybe you could be, AJ. Yeah, gosh, I know. The trillions of events, just like to be at this retreat center. This retreat, just a seeker, like we all are. Yes. Like just to be at this event, like this last week, I was at this back to yoga retreat, and it's like, People were flying from all over Canada, the States, all over to be at this place. And like this, the group of people singing together will never happen again. And like, people talking and the conversations and the hugs and the this and that. It's just like there's so many little crazy moments to guide us. It's quite a lot. It's like too much for my brain to handle, right? And nor do I want to understand it in my brain. Yeah. Let's look at the first one. Yusef, thanks for your question. What about, is it surrendering to our emotions and feelings? What do you mean by that? I'm all about releasing emotions, surrendering to actually like feeling them. I'm a huge advocate for that. I don't believe in pushing emotions down, pushing feelings down. The other day, just this week, I had a moment of overwhelm. And it was like a moment of despair. Instead of pushing it down and no, I'm tough, I'm strong, feel the emotions, yes. I let them come up and I was emotional for like 5 minutes and it passed. It's like thoughts when we meditate. Nicole's asking about meditation. Thoughts, meditating is just not like controlling oneself. It's letting the thoughts pass through, not being attached to them, not identifying with them. So are you meditating before hearing messages? No. I had a few. They come when I'm crying, calling out for help. Yeah, I imagine because you've reached a level of deep surrender and non-attachment. When we get to this this letting go, then there's, I think, a part of us that opens up a little bit. But if we're like super in our brain and no, meditation, I have over a decade of annual Vipassana meditation retreats, which are 10-day silent retreats. And I really believe in that to go really deep and life can be a meditation. I've slowed my life down to the point where anything can be a meditation. Walking in the forest is my meditation, reading on the dock, doing dishes, cooking, eating, speaking to a friend. It can all be meditation. Yeah. Yeah, Heather. Yeah. Heather says they actually say emotions pass in a few moments. Exactly. I have a sister. We do talks on intuition together, if you ever want to check out my website. And she's a social worker. We work with very different humans, and she works with people at their lowest. Like these are people who are suicidal, homicidal. Like she works like, drug addicts. Like she works with people who are going through a lot. And I don't. I work with really fun entrepreneurs. So we have different clients, but she was like, I am terrified to feel my emotions because she's like, if I tap into the pain that I see on a daily basis, she's like, it will be like a floodgate that will never end. So she was very like pushing it down. AJ, I also mentor entrepreneurs. Ooh, please mentor me. I would love to be mentored by you, AJ. I mentor entrepreneurs too, and we all need mentoring. So please, if you want to mentor me, I would love to be mentored. And finally, she did enough retreats, Heather, and she allowed herself to feel the emotion. She's like, I'm going to go in and feel that deep pain that I see. And guess how long she cried for? Because she is like, if I cry, I will never stop. I will cry for all of the suffering and pain I've seen. And she's been in this industry for probably 20 years. She started in high school, 20 years. She's been in this industry, this environment. Guess how long she cried for? When she finally started to cry, all of the pain she saw. Any guesses? I'm curious what you guys think. Moments? 15 minutes? Any other guesses? 5 minutes? Deborah, thanks for joining in. I haven't seen your name come up. Yeah, Deborah, you're right. An hour? No. She cried for 5 minutes. She had pushed all of this sadness down, deep down for years. And when she finally let herself cry it out, it was 5 minutes and then it was gone. Yeah, she probably cried again another day or another time. I had a moment of despair this week and I let myself feel it and I cried and it was gone. And I was like, okay, I'm allowed to. I don't believe in pushing things down. Yeah, Heather. Yeah, similar story. Yes, I realized it doesn't last long. Exactly. Have done similar through trauma. It is amazing. Exactly. I'm all about letting it out, letting it go. Not I believe we have cellular memory and we store traumas and we store everything in our bodies, and we can talk things out, but talking isn't going to actually heal all of the things as much as shaking, dancing, letting it out in a physical way. I want to read other people's messages. Kim, the timing of this topic is amazing. This is helping me tremendously. I'm hearing everything I needed to hear. Oh, I'm so curious. Like what? What were your big takeaways so far, Kim? So other people can, feel inspired. So AJ, as long as we see ourselves separate from the universe, we live in anxiety once we realize we're part of something greater, and surrendering to it is our truth. Yes. AJ, I want you to mentor me. Yeah. I love to teach this, and I come across as confident and true. And I still am human, and not forget. Maybe I forget, but I am someone who I live with anxiety. I learned how to soothe, and I go dancing, and I go in the forest, and I meditate, and I go do yoga, and I do all the things to, it doesn't stop me in my life because I'm always out of my comfort zone. But it's about maybe feeling separate. Yeah, surrendering into it as our truth. I love that, AJ. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other questions you guys may have today? This is a really just open place to share about any topics. Today we're talking about anxiety, surrendering, feeling our emotions, messages through animals, through birds, through dreams. Some really fun, unique topics today. So yeah, if anyone has any stories, I invite you all to follow me on Insight Timer. It's always nice for a new teacher. You're always welcome to leave donations. That encourages teachers to keep going. Visit my profile page and visit my website and see the events. I hold retreats, and I have some space this summer for retreats and coaching and radio show and all of the things. So please visit and follow me more there. How do you like to transmute negative energy? Ooh, good question. Ooh. Well, through my body. I need to release it. We hold, I think, a lot of stress. I'm someone who's anxious. And so I need to release the anxiety, or it just builds up and it might come out sideways, and I might get so reactive that I might yell at someone. And I don't ever want to do that. Even as younger, I was very reactive, and I still am. I'm passionate, I'm reactive, but I'm learning to transmute that buildup of stress and negativity in a more beautiful, healthy way. And so for me, it's really releasing stress through the body. So for me, a big thing that's my medicine is dancing. Really dancing. How often do adults put on a really amazing song that they love and shake and dance and let it out? It could be a 5-minute song. And if we did that every day, I think there's huge healing. Just shaking. When there's animals that fight, after the fight, they just shake and they let it go and they continue on. They release the excess energy and they continue on. And as humans, I believe we're supposed to do that too in our nervous system. Shake and then continue. So I don't really shake, but I go dancing every week, almost every week, which is very important for me. In a place that there's like, no alcohol, not no alcohol, but like people aren't drinking. It's just people are there because they love to dance. And that's really important for me. Or you could stay at home and dance. I'm really big into being in nature. I think nature heals everything. I have friends who live in the city and they're depressed and anxious and all the things. And I say, come up. I live in the forest. Come up north and we'll go into nature, and nature will heal you. And people naturally feel better. One, by moving, releasing endorphins. Two, by being in nature, Yeah. So transmute negative energy. Yeah, I would say not pushing it down, Heather. Not pushing it down. Mm-hmm. Kim, sir. Surrendering. I've been longing to go to big something, to California, but financially I haven't been able to afford it. However, learning about trusted house sitters, luck might change. Well, exactly. Big Sur. I don't know what Big Sur is. I guess I don't know California very well. Oh, exactly. There are some places. Check it out. Yeah. There's some places. Yeah. Big Sur. What is this Big Sur? I gotta research this in California. Yeah. Northern California, it's beautiful. Yeah, I did a 10-day retreat with the red cedars. I was like meditating on the red cedars. Whew, they're powerful. Those are some powerful knowledge bearers. I love the trees. Yeah, Heather, just move to more nature and dance every morning. Exactly. But again, it's like using your intuition, what you know. So, one of the biggest takeaways that I received from this yoga festival, not festival, yoga retreat, the last 4 days, and the whole way there, I was listening to podcasts, and the whole way back, I was listening to podcasts, and literally, we're all saying the same message. Random podcaster from Australia, others doing Buddhist meditation. Like, we all kind of have the same story, and me too. I'm sharing the same message too. And it was the importance and how essential it is to trust yourself. To trust yourself, and AJ, you're going to love this, and to surrender. That was my big takeaway. I spent a lot of money. I spent 4 days. I traveled, drove 6 hours away, one way, for that message that I'm giving you now. You don't need to go through that. Is the importance of trusting ourselves. We have so much wisdom. We have so much knowledge, and then surrendering. And that's work. It's work in progress. I come and I talk about this, and I'm in it with you guys. I have maybe more confidence, a little bit more confidence, but every day I don't have security. I'm not an employee. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't get a call. I don't have work. I live alone. I don't have someone to, help pay my bills. Like, I'm actually going to try create community this fall to have facilitators to come together and support one another and live together and hold retreats and workshops at my place. So if that may interest any of you, reach out to me via my website. But yeah, I have to trust myself, and I have to trust the universe. And I've never been let down. I've only been guided. And I remember the one friend who I saw last night, the last time we went out for dinner was like a year and a half ago. And I was telling her stories about my life and guidance and all these things. And she turned to me, and one of the most beautiful things she's ever said to me, she's like, "Wow, JD, the universe loves you so much." And I was like, yeah, it does. It really does. So yeah, I guess that's a message I want to share with you guys. The universe loves you. I believe it's a safe place to trust. The moments I don't trust, then things don't work out. That's where I lose money, lose time, lose energy, have pain, maybe have a little bit of drama. But when I'm in the flow and trusting the universe, only beautiful things happen. Yeah, so Nicole is saying you're also taking action. Example, registering to be a workshop teacher, etc. Taking action is necessary after the intuition. Exactly, Nicole. I call this inspired action. We can be in our feminine, men and women. We all have feminine and masculine. We can just be in the feminine receptive qualities of receiving intuition, which is mystery, unknown, chaos, all of the things. And if we sit and receive all this amazing wisdom and don't do anything about it, well, then our lives aren't going to improve. We may not be of service. It just doesn't benefit. We need to then be in our receptive feminine and then move into our masculine. And I'm very good to be in my masculine. I'm very good at taking action and doing, and feminine is being. And we need that balance. And so to be then in our masculine, doing and structure and planning and protecting and all of the things, we need both. Otherwise, our life isn't going to change, or we're not going to be able to help anyone, So yeah, for sure. And it's taking inspired action. Really, really, really important. Yeah. Is there any other questions? Any other comments? Maybe I'll ask this. I love asking questions like this. Surrender. Let's stay with the topic of surrender. How often do you guys feel like you surrender in your life? Like 1 is like, 0 is like, I never surrender. I'm always trying to control my life. And 10 is like, I'm 100% in surrender, trusting at all times. What number would you put in the chat box? I'm really curious. I love learning from other people and like, ooh, Kim 5. Maybe 50-50. Sometimes you surrender, sometimes you don't. So what happens to the other 5%, Kim, when you're not surrendering? What are you doing? Exactly. Any other? I want to know what you guys think. AJ, you brought up the topic of surrender. I'm going to ask you. What level of surrender do you live in your life? Anyone? Nicole, yeah, writes 1. Yeah. Surrender is hard. And it's good just to like, maybe when I see you in a couple weeks or a couple months in another live, maybe I'll ask you the same question. Hey, have you worked on this? I call intuition a muscle, and it needs to be exercised, and we need to practice. It just takes practice. We're just humans doing the best we can, practicing, Anyone else? I would love to know. Anyone? Yeah, so the other 5%, Kim, you say, I get caught up in my head and freeze. I forget to surrender. Yeah, freeze. That's a trauma response. Survival. I go into freeze too. Yeah, get up in my head. Head is very fear-based, and fear is there to protect us and keep us alive. I just read this morning where like our ancestors, ancestral, traumas and things. It's like the people who are still alive, like lived in fear. And that's why they're still alive today. And we've come through that. We've come from that. So yeah, it may have been passed down to us if that's what you believe too. Anyone else? I'm really curious, AJ. How often do you live in surrender? I think you could do a whole, I think you could be an Insight Timer talk speaker about this, because this is a really cool topic. 90%. I believe it. I would say I'm like 90% for trusting my intuition. Surrender. is a little bit harder. But I'm getting that message loud and clear this last week. Like, surrender, 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 surrender. I don't want to. My head doesn't want to. It's like, no, I want to have a roof over my head. I want to have food. I want to know what I'm going to do. The universe is like, no, 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 no. Practice, practice, practice. Exactly, AJ. That's what I'm doing. I'm practicing. I'm like, oh, yes. Oh, yes. But it's fun to talk about. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't have any anxiety. Yeah, I had, when I started my company and I couldn't pay my bills, and like I had so much anxiety. I had sleepless nights. I left an emotionally abusive relationship. I went through things. I went through a really deep heartbreak. I cried every single day for 8 months. I didn't care about anything. And I came out of that. Now I'm on Insight Timer talking about my experiences, about following our intuition and how magical life can be when we actually are in this synchronistic flow of surrender and following our intuition. And I guess I just want to remind you guys of that. Yeah, I totally believe that too, AJ. Life is a video game. Don't take it too seriously. Yes. Yes. Please be a speaker. Please be my mentor. Yes, please. I want to hear more of your knowledge. I know. I love that too. I call that too. Life is just a big video game, And it's just like, okay, especially with business. I say this a lot for entrepreneurs. Like, it's just a big Monopoly game. Okay, there's this rule. Okay, now we have to change that. And there's this rule. Okay, now it's just like, it's just a big Monopoly game. Easier said than done, of course, Linda. I know. I'm living it right now. Go surrender, surrender, surrender. I still feel anxiety. Hey, can I really trust you? Can I really lean back and be supported? Can I really? Yeah. Yeah. And every day I'm just getting another message, another thing, another this, another that. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, if I really do surrender, like, glad to hear you're out of a bad relationship. Yeah. Me too. Just yesterday, anxiety is the test. It's your arena for practice. Tell me more, AJ. I'm really curious about anxiety. Tell me more what you mean. I really want to learn more. Like, to not feel anxiety? Because I'm naturally someone who always has a low level of anxiety. Now I have a little bit higher level of anxiety because of my trust. Maybe my lack of like, okay, I really have to work on surrender. Yeah, please say more, AJ, about anxiety. I was just thinking about ideas to, okay. Yeah, AJ says, the universe challenges us all the time. Suffering is rooted in separation. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. 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 Suffering is when we forget, right? So remember. We got to remember again, remember again, remember again. Yeah. Do you trust or don't you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's when everything is going well in life, it's great to trust. If you don't, you suffer. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun to be in the mystery. It's fun to surrender to the mystery. It was a nice message because I'm not very poetic. And for me, that's poetic. Like, surrender to the mystery. It's like, oh, fine. But it's still hard. Like, what? And it's fun to wake up and go like, what is today going to bring me? Where am I going to be guided? Or it's so fun to live. It's much more magical. It's for me, much more magical. And usually I like surrendering to the mystery when I have a home and a place to live. But now it's like, okay, I have no idea where I'm going to go. I can literally hop in my car and drive anywhere. I can hop in a plane and go anywhere. And that love more, and we often do have many choices. We think we don't, but literally we can quit our job, leave the relationship, hop in a plane and fly to another country tomorrow. Like, we can do that. We don't because we're responsible humans, but we can do that. And so just knowing that is like, I have infinite possibilities right now outside of me. I have to go really deep inside to where I feel good. I like just this week I had invitations for this and this, and oh, go to this retreat and meet some people there. Go, I could do all of that. But now I have to go really like, what lights me up? Where brings me joy? Where am I drawn to? Where do I feel excited about? Because there's too many choices. And in life, we're, as humans, we have too many choices. it's it's greater when you're struggling. Be a leaf flowing on the surface of a river flow. Exactly. We're always like, we value in our society, like swimming upriver. Like, oh, we got to fight and swim upriver. And then it's like, we just let go of the paddle and we just let our canoe naturally turns around and just flows down the right, down the river. Doesn't have to be so difficult. We're waves thinking we're separate from the ocean. That's scary. Yeah, exactly. It's all your message of separateness. Yeah. We're a drop, we're part of the ocean and we feel like we're not. Yeah. It's always a pleasure being here. I could talk. I love this. If you saw any value in this, I invite you to leave a donation. I invite you to follow me. I invite you to reach out to me via my website. And yeah, it was just such a pleasure being here. I'm curious if there's any takeaways that you guys got from this topic and these questions today. Any last topics or any last takeaways that you guys really got from today's live? Feel free to write it in the chat box. We have maybe a minute left before I'll log off. Thanks for all of your presence today. We're all the same. We share this experience of living. Yeah, sharing the human experience. Yeah. It reminded me to have a more exciting life. I love that, Nicole. Yusuf, thank you so much, JD. Thank you, AJ. Oh, it was so nice being with you guys today. I love these. I don't know when my next live will be, but follow me and hope to connect with you guys on the other side. Bye for now.